Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my football news series. Today we've got a lot of awesome stories to talk about. Some great players that have been breaking records, young players I should say. And we're going to start off with a huge story coming from Juventus over in Italy. Now today they have lost 2-1 to Spal. And the reason this is such a crazy result is because they could have broken the record today. They have lost out on the fastest ever Serie A league title win after losing 2-1. I mean, can you imagine? They had a chance to break the record and they just couldn't quite do it. They did change up the squad quite a lot. Barzagli, for example, was at the back today and you could argue was at fault for both of the goals they conceded. Now, Barzagli is a veteran. He's a legend, right? But he's 37 years old now. Is it time for Barzagli to retire? I don't know. I think this is one of those games that might be in the back of his head now, thinking to himself, am I really good enough to be playing at this level anymore? He'll be massively missed, but I think it might be time, Barzagli, to hang up the boots at the end of this season. So, you're thinking it's all bad? Well, kind of, but Keane has become the youngest player ever to score in 4 consecutive games in the Italian league. I mean, it's a pretty incredible record. Some other players like Mario Balotelli. Now, if you don't remember how good Balotelli really was when he was younger, Keane's he's being tossed into that same kind of category as the young Balotelli. So he's got a lot to live up to. But Balotelli has done some weird stuff in his career, has kind of tailed off. Hopefully Keane will not be replicating that. I think this guy has a huge future ahead of him. So he's broke a record whilst Juventus failed to secure the fastest ever title win. Over to the Premier League now, and we have some news coming from Newcastle. Now, this is a big bit of news that a lot of Newcastle fans will be hoping for. It's not official, but Rafa Benitez has hinted he will be staying at Newcastle after this season. Now, that's huge because without Rafa Benitez, I actually think Newcastle would be struggling a lot more. He's a fantastic manager. Every player that's worked with Rafa Benitez says how great his tactics are, how much he works off the pitch when it comes to diagnosing, I don't think that's the right word, but analysing their upcoming teams that they'll be playing against and really dissecting. I guess that's the word I'm really looking for. He's very good at doing that. He has hinted it by saying he's already planning for the future. However, is he saying he's planning for the future away from Newcastle, or does he mean he's going to be staying? I think it's very likely that if he has the backing of the board, which, let's be honest, the Newcastle board have not been great over the years, but if they can back Benitez, I'm sure he will stay, and he will be able to bring some players in. They've obviously brought in Almiron already, what a signing he's been. What a signing. So I think that Rafa Benitez can definitely build on what he's already got and turn Newcastle into a top 10 team. Up next, we have Nicolas Pepe again. Now, I spoke about him in the last episode. He has been heavily linked with Bayern, and apparently 80 million euros is what they are looking for at Lille. Now, this week, Tuchel, who's at PSG, has gone on the record and said that he's a very good player. Now, is he hinting that he's prepared to maybe make a bid? I think Nicolas Pepe will be on his way out, but is he going to go to Bayern, maybe replace Robin? Is he worth 80 million? I don't know. It's a tough one. As if there wasn't going to be any Arsenal news. Come on, guys. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm still going to be talking Arsenal quite a lot. So we have our first bit of news here. Ryan Fraser, as you know, has been linked with Arsenal, and he has admitted recently that he is feeling distracted by all the Arsenal rumours. Now, what does that mean, distracted? Is that the right word? I don't know. Maybe he's a bit flattered. He's a bit excited by the thought of maybe moving to the Emirates. Or is he actually just feeling distracted, like he can't focus? Well, the thing is, he played today in a 5-0 win against Brighton. He scored a goal, got 2 assists. Clearly not that distracted. Is he a good signing for Arsenal? Ryan Fraser. I love these kind of signings when they work. It's kind of one of those, you don't expect it, and then suddenly you see the genius behind the transfer. If it works, it's genius, because he's not going to cost us 60, 70, 80 million. I don't know exactly how much he could cost us, but are you going to be getting a good enough player for that kind of money? Also, we are linked with Nzonzi. This was always going to happen. We are linked with Nzonzi every year, but this time I think it it means a little bit more. It's a little bit more realistic because, of course, we have Unai Emery, who's worked with Nzonzi before at Sevilla. So who knows? Maybe this is that kind of deal where the manager just has a personal relationship with a certain player, has played not alongside him, but had him in one of his teams before, and would love to bring him over to Arsenal in this case. So maybe this is something that could happen. Staying in the Premier League now, we've got some very interesting quotes, I guess, from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. He says he's going to be making some very tough decisions this summer and will be shifting any players that are simply not good enough for Manchester United. So this is going to be today's question of the day. Manchester United fans or not, even if you're just a neutral, whatever, you have 5 players from Manchester United you are allowed to sell and you get a really good value for them. Which 5 players are you selling? It's a very difficult one. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got a lot to do this summer. He's obviously not just going to be selling players, but also buying players. But my 5, I think I'd be selling Ashley Young. I think he'd be gone. Phil Jones would be gone. See, now, if you're going to get the value that you deserve for each of these players, I'd consider maybe Lukaku, because if you could get that money back, imagine what they could do with that money. But those are just a couple of my examples that I would probably sell. Let me know yours down below in the comments. Now, there's actually been a fight. An actual fight in the Bayern training ground. Lewandowski and Kingsley Coman have been in a training scrap. Apparently, they both kind of started punching each other and all the players surrounded them and pulled them apart. It's insane. How does this happen? I don't know, maybe there was a tackle that went flying in they weren't happy about, or maybe this has just been something that's boiling over for the last few weeks. Maybe they really don't like each other. But surely, come on, you're professionals. You're adults. Lewandowski is almost 30 years old. Why is he scrapping with one of the younger players in the squad? Apparently, though, the manager has sorted it. Both players have apologised and shaked hands, and there will be no further action, no fines, nothing like that. But this story and many stories that have come out in the past like it always blow my mind. If you're a football player earning millions of pounds, euros, dollars, whatever it is, every single year, you've got to be professional. You've got to be expected to be on your best behaviour. Minimum, if you're angry at someone, just go away. Like don't fight them. Are you mental? So yeah, that happened. And having spoke about Keane at Juventus, it's time to talk about who I think might be the hottest young prospect in the world right now, Joao Felix, the young Portuguese attacker, I guess. He can play on the wing, he can play up front, he can play behind the striker. This guy, he's going to be some player. He got a hat-trick against Frankfurt on Thursday in the Europa League. Although, should mention, Frankfurt did go down to 10 men after 20 minutes, so that does have a slight effect on this, but still, the youngest ever hat-trick scorer in Europa League history, Joao Felix. Now, here's the interesting thing. You're probably wondering, how much is a player like him worth in today's market? So, apparently, clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, Bayern, PSG, all of these clubs are interested, quotation, and you're looking at around 100 million euros just to bid on Joao Felix. Now, the real kicker is, this summer, Benfica are looking to increase that release clause that he's already got. I don't know what the release clause is. It's very possible that he doesn't have a release clause right now, but you would imagine there are many big European clubs, big clubs around the world, probably even in China, for God's sake, trying to sign this kid. He does look to be a very, very good player, but a 200 million euro release clause, if that actually gets put into his contract, because I'm sure they will sweeten his contract, triple it, quadruple it, offer him all the money in the world just to stay at Benfica. But 200 million, is there going to be any club out there willing to pay? I mean, you're talking Mbappe, Neymar kind of money here, and Joao Felix is still only 19 years old. It's a bit early, I think, to be throwing that kind of money at someone. Even 100 million is a ridiculous amount of money, but if you do look at some highlights of Joao Felix, you will see how special this guy is. He will be a very, very good player. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, who saw that Choupo-Moting thing, whatever it was, during the week? How does this happen? Can anyone explain to me how a ball is going into the back of the net, your teammates just lob the keeper, and you're not only trying to steal the goal, but you inadvertently, or in this case, I think, potentially on purpose, stopped the ball from going in. I mean, it blew my mind when I saw this. And I'm just thinking now, imagine if they decided to sell Choupo-Moting, because let's face it, he's a Stoke reject, and they brought in Nicolas Pepe. They could put Mbappe up front, have Pepe on the right, Neymar on the left. Oh, absolutely disgusting. But that has to be the highlight of the week for me, and I almost forgot to put it in. So that's going to be it for this episode of my football news roundup, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully you do enjoy these videos. If you do, smash a like on it. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in our next video soon.